and welcome to episode 4 of Boost Friend Fridays. And let me start by saying Happy New Year. Happy 2026. We have made it. And I have the great pleasure of introducing our first guest of the new year. Hey, we're starting off big. I've been wanting this guest to join us for quite some time. And I knew that they were going to be on this lineup forever, ever since I started BFF. So without further ado, you know her, you love her. Let's welcome Willobeez.
Hello.
Hey, Willo.
Thank you so much for the warm introduction. It is such an honor to be here. It's been, like you said, it's been a little bit of a long time coming. So I'm glad that the stars have aligned in this new year.
Yes.
I'm so excited to be the first episode. Thank you for having me.
Of course, always, always and forever. So let's just roll right into it. We have known each other because we are local bays. We are Orlando gals, right? So obviously we see each other from time to time within our local set champs. We even see each other at DLCs when we're not within the state.
Oh, yeah.
So I just find that funny. But now before we talk about how you and I met, obviously I wanted to kind of know real quick your introduction into Disney Lorcana. So let's hear about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I did start Lorcana back all the way when it first released, but I was a little late to it, so I didn't catch it the 2 weeks prior at LGS's, which was my bad. A friend of mine reached out to me and was like, "Hey, you're not doing anything." I was unemployed at the time. He was like, "You want to go, go to Target at 8 a.m. and try to get this new Disney card game?" And naturally, I was like, "Heck yeah!" So we went to Target. Wiped clean. We came to find out they had stocked it like an hour after we left. We were like there right at 8 a.m. Anyways,
no.
So I ended up finding some first chapter starter decks and paying like $40 for them at like a local game store. So it was back when there was no product. So yeah, a friend of mine was just like, "Hey, do you want to get into this thing with me?" And I was like, "Sure, why not?" I only knew of trading card games from Magic the Gathering. I had never played Magic. I just had heard of it. And I had told myself at the time, because somebody was like, "You'd love Magic." I was like, that's a money pit. I'm never going to do that. And here I am in a different money pit. So I told myself I'd never play a trading card game, and now here we are. But yeah, a friend of mine introduced me. We bought the starter decks for way overpriced, and then he was like, "Did you know this store does free locals? You pay like $7 and you get to play against other people. We can just bring our starter decks." And I got mollywopped at the first ever locals that I went to because I had a starter deck and other people had like Lilos and stuff like that. And for some reason I really loved losing, so the rest was history.
Oh my goodness. Oh, that's too funny. Thank you for the laugh. Listen, those first few months I love to hear everybody's story about it because I cannot believe the lengths we have all gone through, right? Just to get scrappings of these cards. And it's so funny because my first experience of playing someone, everybody, like you said, like everybody had everything. And here I am playing a princess deck, right? That I thought was cutesy. Right. And so too funny. Oh my goodness. But now let's fast forward. We've gotten some games under our belt, right? We've grasped the game at this point, and I know almost to exactly when you and I first met. It was, I think, the week before the first set championships ever into the Inklands, right? We're going back to that Rockstar.
Oh wow.
And yeah. I and my husband basically said, "We need practice. We need to get in front of people, because how do we expect to play at a set champs and not have that face-to-face," right? So we signed up for, I think it was a case. I forgot what the winnings were.
Yes.
I know we didn't hit the match.
It was.
It was something. It was a case tournament at Kissimmee, which is where, obviously we frequent as locals. Coliseum of Comics, because I know I'm saying the city and people are probably like, "What do you mean that's a city, Melissa?" Okay, there you go. So they had a case tournament and we go in, we play, blah, blah, blah. And you are my second opponent, I believe. Oh, by the way, we're going to pause for the camera right now.
Yeah,
there were like 4 or 5 women at that tournament. Tell me how my first 2 opponents were women.
Really?
I don't. Yes.
I was gonna
my first
say.
opponent
I was gonna say 4 sounded like a lot. I thought it was just 3.
I could be wrong, but
And there was
the
like 12
fact that-
people there. Like,
Thank you. How did I play every single female in that tournament? Like, that ain't right, man. The fact that we
That
had to
always happens,
cannibalize each
too.
other, how does that happen? But anywho, I digress.
Every time.
Okay, so I played the one lady, very sweet. I believe she was playing a Fasa deck. I think we tied because
Yes,
that's how
she
long
was.
our game went. And then we pair up. So now, if her and I tied, you either paired up or paired down. But I'm assuming you
Paired
won
up.
your first round.
or excuse me,
You
paired
paired up.
down. I won my first round.
Down. You won. Yeah.
Down,
That's what
sorry.
I thought. Okay.
I won my first round. Yeah.
So yes. So now here I am again, second female, and I'm like, what is this? But hey, whatever. we're moving and grooving, and you had a friend recording your game, and you were like, hey, listen, it's okay if you don't feel comfortable, blah blah blah. We're just gonna catch like your hands and the board state, like you won't be on camera, blah blah blah. So you were very very nice about it. And I was like, wow, this girl knows what she's doing. Like, oh my God, I am so intimidated right now. You looked so
Ignorance is bliss.
professional.
Ignorance
Willo,
is bliss,
no,
Melissa.
But hey, here we go. Like my first like legit tournament. And I got this lady in front of me recording her plays. And I'm like, okay, that's a thing. And then the next thing I'll never forget. So I think you had Ruby Amethyst for that tournament. It was Ruby because I remember B Prep was definitely a thing for you.
Yeah.
And then I was playing my Steel Song Flutes. And
Yes.
this was like already, DeCandio had, made him famous and everything. That already happened. And do you remember your reaction when I played flute? Because I do. If you don't, I do.
I would imagine I was not happy because my deck was supposed to hard lose to flutes. But I really hope that I was respectful in my disappointment. It's okay.
And maybe you masked it because the second I played flute, you were like, whoa, flutes, oh my God, let's go. I haven't seen that in a minute. Like, legitimately. And I'm like, oh my God, is she messing with me right now?
To be fair, that tracks because I actually genuinely love flutes and I wanted to play it, but I couldn't because of Ruby Amethyst. And to be fair, the week prior or something like that, like the last tournament I had been to was a 1K that I had made top 8 at, and I had played another woman. Her name is Ursi Day. She's actually a really big Pokemon streamer. This was back when like George was in like he's like a big Riftbound guy. But George and Ursi Day were there at the tournament. I played Ursi. George was watching, and like when she whipped out flutes, I was like, oh my God. So this actually tracks that happened. But I would never get to play flute, so I would just be happy when other people played them. So that makes sense.
I love it. Love it. So we went back and forth. I can't remember if we went to 3 or if you won. You won the match. Let's just say that. And as soon as I saw I was playing Ruby, I was like, oh, I'm so done, right? Because I don't think my flutes did what they needed to do, and that was find songs, right? If I can't find songs, whether you
I think I remember that. Your Ariel was on vocal rest.
on par for Ariel when it comes to me. Everyone knows the second I could have gotten rid of her, I did, because I'm sorry, Ariel was not it for me. But yes, thank you for remembering the on-parness of her in my deck. But yeah, so good game, right? I mean, I thought it was. At least I held my own for someone who was very scared of those colors, by the way, because we knew that those were the top 2 colors of like the first 3 sets. So I was very intimidated for multiple reasons, by the way. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if I got this. So like I got into my own head, but I can't think of anything where I had misplayed. But I couldn't have been happier to lose to someone that I thought, you know what, she deserves it because I could tell she's putting in the work, right? Clearly she's recording herself because she's trying to get better. And yeah, I just instant respect for you. And I remember after we played, we both made top cut, and my first opponent let's just say they're associated heavily with the color purple. It was a mirror match for me, and they won. So I got cut out of top cut, but you, I think, kept going to top 4. Was that correct?
I did go to top 4, yeah.
Yes. So I remember we left, my husband and I. I made top cut, he didn't. And I remember saying bye to you, hey, mad respect, fist pump, take it all the way. And I feel like that's the story, right? Like, and then every time you and I met up again, it was just like, the mad respect, because here we have, 2 women, brand new TCG for both of us, first time, and it was like, game respects game, right?
Yeah.
And I've always felt that about you, Willo. I look up to you in that. I feel like you've pioneered so much things that you have been doing now for over a year, that I'm like, you know what? I could do it too, right? I could make my own YouTube channel, right? I mean, I remember watching your earlier videos and just going, why can't I do this? I could talk to a camera, and if it's just one person watching it, hey mom, that's fun. Yeah, I don't know if you had anything else to add to that one, but okay.
Yeah, I know. Well, you're too incredibly kind, really. I appreciate the kind words more than you know. I do remember, yeah, I think what I remember was finishing that match, and like I think it never feels good, like you said, to cannibalize, like, because it's good to see other women out there. So I was happy to have won. And this was only my second tournament, because it was my first tournament ever was the one I had talked about previously, making top 8. That was the first time I had ever made top 8. Excuse me, it wasn't my first tournament.
Wow.
It was the first one I had made top 8 at, right? So it was like a big deal for me. And then I came and did this tournament, and so I was like slowly entering that, like, maybe I can do this, maybe I can play competitively and understand this game a little bit more. And I could tell from your end as well how much it meant to you and how hard you had been working. And it was just like you said, game recognized game, and I feel like we had that mutual understanding of each other. And so when I won, I was happy to have won, but like I could see it on your face, you were a little upset, but like you put it down, like tapered it down, and you were just like, you know what, I'm really happy I lost to you. You were a great player, and like I think you gave me a fist bump and stuff, and like that meant so much to me, because it was like both of us just understanding that we had put in so much work to get to where we were. Even in that like little moment of not knowing each other, I think you could feel it, that we had worked really hard to be meta, to play meta decks and to understand them. So no, I totally agree. I think from then on, it was just like every time we saw each other, we were just like, oh, this person who I love and respect. And I don't think we've had to play each other since, but we've frequented top cuts together, so we're putting in the work.
Yes, I gotta be honest, because like you said, we have played in other tournaments together. One, and we'll talk about it, was when you won your very first, right?
Yeah.
And let me tell you, I did not want to play you for obvious reasons, because you were crushing it. And like I don't remember what I was playing. I'm sure it was Ruby Amethyst, and you were on Ruby Sapphire. And let me tell you something. If there was any color combination, I am just like, I cannot, because I feel like I always lose to it, is Ruby Sapphire. So I'm like, please let me not get paired up with Willo, please. But you crushed it. You crushed it.
Oh my god, that was an amazing tournament. I got lucky. To be fair, I also had never played Ruby Amethyst. I was like, Ruby Sapphire. I was like, I don't know how these guys do it. Yeah, but I was just like, you know what? I was like, you know what? Nothing feels good right now, so I'm just gonna try this. And I don't know. Hey, maybe it's easy, guys. Because I took that. I only practiced for like one local, and then I no, I'm just kidding. But I got lucky. It was a good list.
Crushed it. Like literally day one of set champs of that set, you came in, you crushed it, and you played some hitters. You played Anthony from my team, and he's an amazing player. He is I'm gonna get this wrong. He plays in Yu-Gi-Oh! Like a master level, or he's won. Like he's well known in Yu-Gi-Oh! Right? And for him to come over and just apply his skills into Lorcana, obviously he learned it very quickly. And you got the best of him, and I was like, yo, she's on a path.
I played another great player as well. I mean, everybody I played was amazing, but like I played another great player too, Strenuous, who we're also good friends with, and like beating him was crazy. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, I was like, oh, maybe I am getting better because Sean is amazing. So to have beaten him, it was like, obviously, again, it sucked because he's a great friend, but it meant a lot. It showed my growth.
Yes. Oh, heck yeah. Heck yeah. You know what? I'm glad. And I actually forgot that you played him in top 2. Shout out to Strenuous Sean. All right, so, we obviously said bye the day at Kissimmee. Did you keep going, or was top 4 the end of it there for you?
We decided to split.
I remember that, the winnings.
We decided to split, but we played for the Enchanted Genie. And I lost. Yes, I lost in top 4 to Mark Landers, who has got some Lorcana tops and other games. He's a really great player locally. And he was on Blurple, so bad matchup for me.
Interesting. Okay, fair enough. But so since then, obviously, like I'd kind of already alluded, you've gone on to create content, right? Obviously you were recording. I don't know whatever came of that footage. If you have it, you gotta send it to me one day.
I do have it. I do have
it. Oh, yay. So talk to me. Talk to us about, your content creation. How did that come about? Did you do it for you? Because I only can assume from my perspective, and then when I obviously started watching your content, but how did that all come about?
Yeah, for sure. So content creation is something that I'm 25 now, and it was something that I've wanted to do since I was young. I think I really wanted to get into content creation when I was 15, and I just really struggled, Yeah, being a kid, it's hard. It's hard and it's scary. And I'd made a couple videos on personal channels and things like that. And finally in college, I was like, okay, all right, I'm going to do it for real. No more talk. It was not no more talk, but I digress. And so I kind of started dabbling in some content creation and gaming related stuff, gaming and lifestyle. And eventually, it's just hard to, like I said, it's intimidating. It's hard to keep up with. It's hard to commit to. So I stopped for a little bit. And then when Lorcana came into my life, I was just having so much fun. And I feel like it reignited this passion for me during a time in my life where I really needed purpose and I really needed something to look forward to. And Lorcana was that thing, and I think a lot of people felt that way. And it being this beautiful mix of the Disney IP with, a little bit of strategy and competition from the card game community side. And Lorcana created this really beautiful and unique community where, players like us who are new to the game and maybe not the traditional audience, could play. And I was fortunate that my locals, like we mentioned, Coliseum of Comics in Kissimmee, had a bunch of really, really, really good players, people on Magic Pro Tours and just coming from other games. And so our locals got deemed the competitive cutthroat locals.
Yes.
But for me, as someone who enjoys competition and enjoys games, even though I was getting beat every single week, I just kept going back. And thankfully I did, because it made me the player that I am today, and it made me so much better. And so when I started learning a little bit more about the competitive side of Lorcana, I started having a couple of tournaments under my belt. I was like, okay, maybe I know a thing or two about this, and I wanna learn more from some of the greats, and I wanna talk to people and connect with people in a big way and share what I'm going through for other people who are similar and in a similar boat, because it can be intimidating, but I want people to know that it doesn't have to be, and it's okay to not know things. And that's kind of what pushed me to start Lore Chronicles, which is a podcast that I do. And the idea behind it is, thank you. The idea behind it is that I am, a TCG beginner, fresh face on the scene, and just falling in love with it for the first time. And I'm talking to people and interviewing people like Mr. Burns, who is frequently on my show, who are veterans, who have been in this for 10 years, who have it under their belt. And Lorcana, to them, whether they love it or not, some of them really, really love it, and some of them it's just hopping to the next thing. But the idea is what is it that makes TCGs so special? And I kind of get those questions answered in a way that other people may have those same questions. And that over time has evolved to things like winning my first set championship and sharing that with people, and saying this is what it felt like. And I'm just me. And I show up to locals and I get beat every single week, but by working on it and getting better, I've now won a set championship. And so I've been told, which is insane, I never expected it, but I've been told that a lot of like women watch my content, and like people will share my content with other women, and they like that video specifically where I won my first set championship really like motivated some people to be like, you know what, maybe I shouldn't be so scared to put myself out there. And that's what it's about, is like just sharing community thoughts and like representing people out there. And so that's what I try to do, is I just try to talk about the game and what I think. And I ask the audience, what do you guys think? Am I like way off center, or are we also feeling this way? And thankfully so far, I don't think I've had anything too crazy. Most of the time people are like, I agree. So yeah, that's just kind of what it started out and where it's grown.
Yeah. And let me say something, like Lore Chronicles was something that I would go to and watch in the time in which I started getting into the competitive space, right? So some of the things that we as women have experienced, I took to your channel to relate. So it does hold true in terms of what you've been told about your audience, right? I know it's not just women, obviously, that watch your show. But,
yeah, 100%. Mostly not.
It started from I can relate to, I could relate even more. And then I appreciate your topics, because I feel like if there is something that came up on a Lorecast, or, something is rocking the Disney Lorcana world, you would talk about it in a very like even tone, matter of fact, but you give your opinions on it. And, most of the time I'm agreeing with you, right? Because, and I'm glad you bring it up, because who else is talking about these things, right? I appreciate what you guys talk about on your show, right? And, please don't ever stop giving your opinion. And for those who have never met Willo, I can tell you, if you watch her channel, she is who she is, day in and day out, on the show, off the show. This is Willo in a nutshell. Like, you bring yourself to that show, and honestly, I don't know if anybody else does this, I'm sure people do. I talk to you through the screen. Like, you're talking, and I'm like, yeah, Willo, that's true.
No,
I may be crazy. I am crazy. I'm like, yeah, get it, Willo. That's right. So I find that to be very good content when I'm like talking to the screen, right? And
Thank you.
I find myself doing that quite often when I watch your stuff. So, yeah, keep it up. Like I said, you were an inspiration for me to build the courage to go into the long form content, right? Like people who are watching this probably know that obviously Instagram is kind of where I started the Lorcana journey for me in terms of creation. And going into YouTube, it was never something I had even thought of. And just kind of seeing how easy you made it look. Trust me when I say, you do make it look easy. It's just like turn on the camera and go. But that goes back to your skill of just, you've gotten comfortable with the space. You have found your craft. I know you said you've kind of struggled in the beginning in terms of ideas, but you know what the audience doesn't know? They don't know the struggle, right? Yeah. They don't see how hard it is to record some days, right?
They really don't.
It truly is a sacrifice, and I know people that make content understand that. But the fact that we do this, we don't get paid for it for the most part, right? Like, we know there are monetizations, but we have to tell ourselves to get up. There is no boss, right? So mad respect for anyone who does the content, and thanks for giving me that courage. And I know you're on Twitch and you're kind of all over the place and you're making your name known. And it's just fun to watch that journey for you.
Thank you. You are too kind. I can't, Melissa, because I love you and I care about you. So, if I have not given you direct courage, you're so kind. I know you do, and I love you for it. If I have not given you direct courage, I will start being in your DMs a bit more, because I think you do great work, really, and I love what you do. And I'm so glad that you're coming over to the YouTube space. Thank you for what you said about my content. It has evolved over time. It's like I've started, with one thing and doing the vlogs and then changing it to other stuff. And I think where it started to like resonate with me and feel like, okay, I'm doing something that matters and feels right to me, because that's my goal. I can't, unfortunately. I wish I could. I cannot be inauthentic. And I know people who say that, it's like, oh my God, get over yourself. But like, actually, it's like a problem. Like, I used to, this is, sorry, it's a very small tangent. I used to stream on Twitch to like 50 viewers, which like, I get it. To Mr. Beast numbers, that's like nothing. 50 viewers to me, I was like, oh my God, mom, I'm famous. Look, 50 viewers, right? Like 50 people on Twitch. But it was 9-year-olds who wanted me to play Roblox. And I was like, I can't. I was like 22 at the time. I was like, I can't continue to play Roblox. It just doesn't feel right. It's not who I am. You know what I mean? And like, but that's just who I am. Like, and so I had a little bit of that with Lore Chronicles too, where I was like, oh, the vlogs are great, but like, I don't know if it's like, I didn't feel like impactful enough. Like, I want to talk about stuff that like matters to me. And I was just like, you know what? Like, I messaged Mr. Burns and I was like, hey, I really want to talk about like, how I don't feel good enough at this game. And that happens to me as a beginner. Does that happen to you as a pro? And he was like, yeah, it does. And I was like, perfect. So then we sat and we talked about it. And like from there, like that just really resonated with me. Like you said, community topics was like the big thing of like, there are things that happen in this space and sometimes they're big and sometimes they're small and regardless. And a lot of people are talking about them. And so for me, it was like, it's hard sometimes, you know, it's hard sometimes to be the guy who shares your opinion. You know, I want to always make Ravensburger happy. I want them to have some eyes on me and be like, no, we can trust her. But I do think that with my opinion, like you said, I try to keep it calm and collected. And I try to be like, look, guys, there's no reason to raise pitchforks. We're all adults. Okay. We're playing the Mickey Mouse game. We can give constructive feedback. And still make our voices heard. And I think since then it's been great to like have a space where, because there are people who that's their thing, you know, they want to make it like a spectacle and make it like a, this sucks and the game's dying and that. It's not my thing. For me, I'm just like, here's what I think's going on and let's talk about it. So I really appreciate that a lot. And yeah, I thank you. So that's what I try to do. Yeah, with the content.
I think you're doing it well. Keep it up. And you know, we've talked about how your content has evolved and just continued to get better and you're honing in on that craft. Now, let's kind of talk about your skills and your craft on the player side, right? So obviously, you know, we continue to learn and grow and just kind of face different challenges throughout. So what would you say has been, you know, your key to getting better as a player? So what do you do? Anything differently? You know, what has been the key to your success? Any shout outs?
Oh man, this is such a great question because it, like with anything, I think in life, it just like it takes a village and like you are never truly working alone. Like you are just like this conglomerate of all the people around you. And so I think one of the biggest things that I attribute to my success, just in terms of like success at getting better at the game, you know, just like actually growing as a player is just my local scene. Because like we mentioned, it is a more competitive one. It's lots of players that have played TCGs for such a long time. And so being surrounded by that, it just forces you to get better. It's like sink or swim, you know? And I just got to a point where I was like, man, I'm spending $7 every week. I want to win $20, you know, like that's the top 8 split, 24, 28. I was like, I want to win store credit. And so you just keep showing up. And so part of it is like, you know, these amazing people around me, who, you know, I would message and what do you think about this card? What do you think about this deck? So much of it is like my local scene. I'm really bad at giving myself props, but I will give myself props. It is also part of me just like showing up and continuing to go even when it's hard and even when I'm losing. It's also just like it's just watching. Like I watch a lot of I just watch a lot of content. I watch a lot of like the LC3, I watch ICL. Like when I'm not at a DLC, I'll watch the streams or, you know, CCS and third-party tournaments, and I watch the Alter Academy, and you know what I mean. Like I'm studying. I can't always afford Metafy guides. I try when I can, and I'm studying, and it's because it's fun for me, you know. And I'm watching stuff like what is value trading and stuff like that, but it's in like Magic terms because nobody's done it for Lorcana yet, except for Inkborn Heroes. Inkborn Heroes is pretty good, but like you know what I mean. So like it's just a lot of consuming content, and then honestly, something for me, I wish it was more of playing against other people. Playtesting is the key. I think that's what's really stopped me from going even higher. So it's not that I'm not mentioning it not because I like don't think it's important. It's because honestly that's like what I've struggled the most with. My playtesting is kind of just once a week at locals, sometimes online when I can. but like that's something that I'm trying to make more time for this year, is to actually play test, because I think I've gotten where like the training wheels have come off, and now I'm like, I went from a beginner player to like a mid-level player, you know, like I can top a locals, I can top a set championship, but I'm not quite like day 2 DLC material yet. And so I think part of that is just continuing to push through and play test. So I've joined the Flower Farm recently, so shout out to JDRR and that community. They're really great. Yeah, and that's been a big step, because it's not free, as it shouldn't be. You know, we're getting knowledge, but like it's not free, and it was something that I had to commit myself to saying, like, do I want to spend money each month on Lorcana coaching? And I do. So some people don't see the value in that. Some people have the brain to do it without a coach. I'm a very visual learner. I'm very follow step 1, 2, and 3 exactly. So I'm trying that. I'm giving it an effort, and hopefully in this new year it produces some better results. Maybe not for Richmond. I've been slacking a little bit with the holidays, but hey, Indianapolis, okay, that'll be my time. Season 3, okay, season 3. We'll talk day 2 and DLC, okay. Maybe not Richmond. I don't want you guys to think JDR are slacking, okay. I'm the one slacking, okay. It's just, but I will try my best.
Shout out to him and them. I know my husband has also been in their Discord. So shout out to the Blurple players, the OGs, right? I can't believe Blurple has taken the world by storm as it has. Like, I remember him playing, and people are like, "What are you doing? What are you playing? What is this off meta stuff?" And then it just
needed its time. It just needed its time.
It did need its time. Oh, it's so crazy. Now, you talked about watching, you know, a lot of content, and that's pretty much kind of your exposure to getting better and really staying on top of the meta. But let's talk about being on the flip side of that, as you have recently had opportunities of casting. So congrats on that. That is such a huge step. And you've done 2 or more. Tell me, please.
2 big ones. I've done some small ones.
2 big ones. Great.
I've done 2 big ones.
My B.
No, you're good.
So yeah, let's just talk about all things casting, because again, this is something completely different. You're used to hitting record and kind of talking to a camera. You're still doing that with casting, but now you're doing it with other people. You're doing it, you know, it's live, right? So like, let's just all the things. What was your first casting gig? What kind of sparked that interest? And then we'll kind of evolve into the bigger ones and go through there.
Yeah, for sure. So, what sparked the interest was actually, well, for one, watching the amazing casters that are out there today, that I look up to so much and admire. People like Rebecca Quest, you know, Katie of the Lore Keepers and JDZ, Liam of the Illumineers, and then also like not even just the people on the DLC cast, but people that have only done third-party events so far, like Colors Law, and Garrick, of Garrick's Lorcana Lair, Rudro's TCG. Like, there's too many. You know what I mean? Like, I would watch these people, like I said, because I would just watch to get better too. Like, I'm like, okay, well, I want to see the plays that these top guys are making because I'm playing their decks. And then as I'm watching the plays, I'm realizing that I'm also like having so much fun listening to this like beautiful color commentary and the analytics, and they're breaking it down for me when I'm like, why did he do that? And then they're sitting there telling me why I did it, and I'm like, okay. So it kind of was just this natural thing of like watching those people. I was like, wow, I think it's really cool what they do, in combination with like the people really helped me realize that it was an art form. You know what I mean, so to speak, and that there was something more to it in Lorcana than just like just doing it for fun. It was like they really brought a level of professionalism to it that I thought was really cool and helped me take it a little bit more seriously, because I had always been interested in casting, but I had been interested in casting for esports. I really liked playing Valorant. I really liked watching competitive Valorant, and so like there's a caster, Pansy, I believe is her like casting name. She's like one of the best to ever do it. Like, I think she's so incredible and so fun. She brings so much energy, and I was like, man, I want to do that. I love Valorant. I want to do that. And so then I watched all these people do it for Lorcana, and I was like, wait, you could do that for Lorcana. And so I think just naturally, you know, but the content side, I have some like entertainment experience under my belt as well. I was an actor growing up, so I think things like that just kind of led me to naturally be a little interested in it. I offered, locally for some events, like at Coliseum and stuff like that. But by then they kind of weren't really streaming their games too much. So I didn't really get a chance until after I started my YouTube channel and it was doing a little bit better. Somebody was like, hey, Corwin from the Uninkables reached out and he was like, hey, I'm such a big fan of the Lore Chronicles, which was very kind. And he was like, I would love it if you would cast an event. And so that was a smaller scale one because it was for local in North Carolina to their scene. And I was like, oh God, I'm nervous. I don't know if it's going to be good. But I just did it and I tried my best and it worked out. And then, from there, I got like a round or two of ICL whenever they needed a sub in, and then I've always said, I don't care how you get the gig. What matters is that you're now there, so it didn't bother me that I was, hey, this person can't make it. Do you mind coming in? I'm like, sure. Thanks for thinking of me, cause that's what matters. Exactly. Is like that we're there and we're in the room and we're getting to do it. So, yeah, from there, I kind of has grown a little bit, but I've fallen a lot of in love with it. It's been great.
Good. And before we get into the bigger ones, because I know, and I'm pretty sure this is, and we've kind of talked off air, has kind of intertwined. Getting into the space of TCGs, women in TCGs, playing competitively, and now, doing your channel, and then now casting, the big, scary imposter syndrome, right? Something that I know I go through, kind of every time I sit down across someone who, for some reason, I've never spoken to them a day in my life, but yet I feel like I'm going to lose to them automatically. Like, I shouldn't be here. So you go through that. I feel like, at some point, regardless of who you are, we get a little bit, when we enter a space that we're new to, right? And we have this sense of we don't belong. Walk me through that, because I'm sure, especially in the casting space, like you said, you've seen others do it and you want to emulate them. And now here you are. You may not have been the first or second choice, to cast, but here you are. You're doing it. You finally have the chance. Just walk me through kind of some of those internal turmoils and things that you may have come across, or even maybe external ones when you're first casting.
Yeah. Oh goodness. Imposter syndrome is such a great way to put it. Because it's scary and with the internet and everything, like parasocialism, I don't know if that's what it's called, but like being parasocial, like it's so susceptible for all of us. Excuse me. And I think part of that was like, even in small ways, we kind of see parasocial being talked about on the internet as like, oh, I feel like I'm literally friends with this person. But I think it also has other smaller effects, where it's just like seeing somebody and looking up to them and being like, oh, like they must be so good at this, or this must be so easy for them, or they must all be friends, and it was kind of like with casting, it was that sort of thing where I was like, oh man, all these amazing casters get to do these opportunities together all the time. They must like have a perfect flow with each other, and I'm gonna come in and I'm not gonna fit, and or I'm not gonna pause at the right time, or what if I'm talking too much, what if I'm talking too little, what if I'm not making the right plays. The biggest one for me was like, I'm so scared to call out plays still to this day, because like I know I'm not the best player. I'm still learning, and so sometimes I'll see something and I'm like, I want to say, what if they're going to do this? And then sometimes my fellow caster has to step in and be like, well, they wouldn't do that because of this. And, it's not about being rude. It's about like, this is, we're trying to talk through the best plays. But to me, it's like, overanalyzing and, oh gosh, what if people realize, what if she doesn't know anything she's talking about? She doesn't even know how to play the game. So there's so much that really goes with it. And actually, I didn't mention, but like that first casting gig that was very small, for a local store in North Carolina, Color is Law actually agreed to do it as well. And she's amazing. I got to work with her recently. Yes. And I've worked with her on ICL and stuff. And like, I had never really met her, ever. And so I was like, oh my God, she's this professional, she's going to like knock it out of the park, and I'm going to sit here like not knowing what to do. So like, there's so much of that. And she wasn't, she was great, and she was kind, and, she flowed and we worked on it, and you know what I mean? So I think what I've realized is like you just get to go and you build these things up in your head to be very big and to be very scary, and there's that voice that tells you like that you can't do it and you're not good enough. And I think what I've realized is like whether that's true or not, I just turn it off and all I can do is like be there. Because that's the only way to get better is doing. Like, you don't get better thinking about it. You don't get better talking about it. You don't get better. Honestly, sometimes you don't even get better studying it. The really actual only way to get better is through action. And so that's what I've been trying to do is quiet the voice in the back of my head and just put, you know, pen to paper and make it happen. And I think I'm better for it. So, but it's been hard. It's hard. It's scary every time. And I watch it back, or if I'm having an off day, I'm like, I know in my head that I'm like, oh my God, I had a headache before I recorded that match. But to the audience, you know, they don't know that.
They don't know that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and obviously we've been talking about her for a while. Shout out to Caller. Again, another great caster, and you know, shout out to everyone who has kind of paved the way. It's just been really great to see, you know, friends you either made in person or virtually first just kind of do so well and cast these games. And so, but it's funny when you said, you know, you just got to do it and kind of turn off that part of the brain. It really is true. You really just got to disassociate that, like, the emotion needs to kind of get checked somewhere. And I think that's applicable for a lot of things, not even just casting, right? So one that I can kind of talk to is like just being on camera in general, like whether you're casting or streaming, like that emotion needs to go, right? Public speaking, anything, because that can mess with you. So for anyone who is camera shy, anyone who is maybe interested, but their nerves kind of get to them, like, yes, we get it. It is very difficult. It can be very overwhelming, but find a way to either practice on your own, kind of get the muscle memory, any way that you could just kind of disassociate and turn off that emotion of, you know, whether it's imposter syndrome, whether it's the nerves, just let it happen. Because I've never casted, but I could definitely imagine where if you are going to go out there and cast, you do the best you can in terms of what you know, and you will continue to get better at it. You'll continue to pick up those cues, right? I recently saw some tips that Liam gave on his channel.
Yeah.
So shout out to Liam.
Great video.
Great video, great tips, right? So for anyone interested, I thought that was great. And I'm not casting myself, and I thought they were great. So, you know, you've done your first one, you know, you put yourself out there, you continue. We talked off there a little bit in terms of like, you're always studying, you're always working, you're always watching content, right? You may not play it as much, but you're definitely still learning with the meta and with this game, right? So I think you've been well rewarded, right? So you've done now you've casted some big ones. The most recent being PPG Orlando, right? Now let's just talk about them, right? If you want to talk about both of the big ones, right? Like I mean, this is your time to gush, right? Please tell me how did it go?
Yes,
you know, anything.
Oh goodness, I would love to. Yes, a PPG Orlando was. I said this to JDZ, and I don't think he was like literally making fun of me, but it was so funny because I said this to him, and I mean it because I'm gonna say it now. I was like, oh my God, what a dream, right? To like be here. And he was like, oh, dream, like, you know, like we're doing something important. And honestly, like it was very like a very funny moment, like because I think he was like, we were, you know, sharing like being excited about casting, and he was saying that not in a way to be like, oh, a dream. He was saying like, oh, like, you know, I know that we shouldn't consider this a dream because there's so many other bigger things, and it's to us, it's just, you know, or like to the outside world, it's just Lorcana, but like to us, it is a dream, you know. And so I thought that was funny that he was like, gosh, we shouldn't even consider this a dream, but it is, you know. And PPG Orlando, it was a dream for me, and it really was, and that's the truth, because it felt like something I had manifested for months. They don't know this over at PPG, but this was something that like when I saw PPG Denver and Mr. Burns, who I work with on Lore Chronicles on occasion, was there, and he was there, and I was like, okay, well, if he can be at PPG, like, and this is my friend and I know him personally, like, maybe I could do it. And I was like, you know, Orlando's right down the street from me. Like, they don't even have to they don't even have to fly me out or anything, you know? Like, I was like, I just kind of was delusional, to be honest. I was just like, you know what? Why not me? And so, and I promise you, like, there was no basis, but I was just like, I'll do that. Like, I was just like, maybe it'll happen. And so I just kind of allowed myself to be delusional and whimsical. And I was like, you know, I was like asking him, I was like, hey, any tips or tricks? And he was like, oh, geez, I really don't know. I don't even know if I'm working the next one. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of just one of those things. It's like show business. It's like, you just have to be right place, right time. So I didn't know what was going to happen, but I knew in my heart that I had hoped that it would happen. And I messaged Stefan, who works for PPG now, and he was in charge of it. And I was like, hi, Stefan. Mr. Byrne said he told you that I want to cast, so if there's ever any space, you know, like, I was like, Stefan doesn't know who I am. And he's like, for sure, here's the, like, I can't say anything. You can fill out the link just like everybody else. And it was like an interest form, you know? And so I was like, okay, well, all I can do is put my hat in the ring, and filled out my interest form. And, you know, I was like, maybe it'll work out. So it was really something that I was just so delusional about. And leading up to the event, like, no one messaged me. I didn't even get like, everybody else got like a response from the thing. It was supposed to be automatic. Mine didn't even end up like coming in. So I didn't even get to like, you know, promote tickets and stuff like that. Like, which is fine. It was genuinely like just like a computer error, but I was like, oh man, I didn't even get to like sell tickets and stuff. So I really don't think I'm even like on the list of people to be considered. And, you know, it was just one of those things where I just got lucky and it just kind of fell into my lap because I was so close and they needed some folks last minute. And shout out to Gabe, who I worked with over at Versus like a couple weeks prior, who is familiar with PPG and stuff like that. And so he was like, well, you know, Willobeez and Color are like down the street, so we can bring them in. And thank God. You know, but it was one of those like things that just kind of fell into my lap. And it was so funny because what started out as me being truly just like delusional, being like, I have a feeling this one's my one, it's right down the street, I think I can make this one, it just ended up working out. And to be there in that room with like the platform online, of like, we had like a couple hundred people watching, which was insane. Like, and to see the chat and people being like, oh my God, like Willobeez is here. You know what I mean? Like, I was shocked too, you know? But to, you know, to sit next to people like JC and Liam and Color and Gabe, who like at this point have tournaments and tournaments and tournaments under their belt, you know what I mean? And for me, this was only my second actual full day of a tournament, because I had done it with Versus like a week prior with Gabe, which is also a funny story that I'll get to in a second. But like, I had one tournament under my belt. Everything else was like, oh, you know, an ICL here, like, which is one round. You know, a video there, and that was it, right? Like, I was like, I have done one round of casting a couple different times, and I'm sitting next to these people that do it professionally and do it often. And so it was a dream, because to me it was like, what a cool opportunity for, like, I just started playing this game on a whim, going to Target at 8 a.m. with a friend hoping to get a starter deck, and continuing to show up to locals week after week, even though I was losing. I'm just paying other people to get top cut at this point, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just funding other people's wins. To then, you know, winning a couple tournaments and being, you know, having the opportunity to be there in the booth. It was like with people who I look up to and admire. It was just like, to me, that was a dream, you know, because I'm having fun and I'm doing the thing like that I enjoy, and I'm happy, you know. And so like, I get it. We could dream about, you know, movie stars and having $1 million and stuff like that. But for me, it's like, the point is just that we're happy. And I was like the happiest I had like ever been, being in that room. So it was like the coolest experience ever. And I'm so grateful to Stefan for taking a chance on me, because realistically my resume was not very long, but I was willing to show up. So I'm glad he called.
I'm glad it worked out. And you know, you never know. And for those who are interested, put yourself out there, right? Because you're never gonna
100%.
You're never gonna be able to if you don't. You know, you got to take the first step, right? And
worst they could say is no.
Is no, exactly. No, and then we keep it moving. But you know what? They now know you're interested, and I think that's just as important. because if the opportunity ever comes up, they know that there is at least one other person that is interested. And then you said you had kind of an anecdote on your time at Versus?
Yes, so Versus came before PPG,
Yes.
and it's what helped, other than Gabe being like, with like Willo and Color live down the street. It helped Stefan and see who I was outside of just the DM being like, hello, if you ever need anybody, please. You know? So I got an opportunity to cast Versus, just again auto whim. They had a tournament. You know, there's a little bit of a gap in the Florida scene. I think we all know what I'm talking about, and a lot of people are desperate to have some of that, like, you know, big events back here, because a lot of really great players like Zan Syed and others are not too far in Atlanta for CCS, and then we had stuff in South Florida that people would come down for. So there's a little bit of like a craving for that, and some locals. Shout out to Patrick Hewley, the one who won is often his tag. You know, he just believed in it, and he was like, I want Florida to be great. And so he works with Versus, and they believe in it too, and they believe in the community. And so they put on this huge event, and they were like, let's do it. Let's make it big. Let's get a little, you know, round one bye to PPG, and let's cast the thing. And again, guys, I'm telling you, I just got lucky. And I think we say a lot in Lorcana, well, anywhere, but in Lorcana, we say all the time, better to be lucky than good. Right. And I think what we talk about all the time is like, it's both. And I was both because I was lucky to get that opportunity. It had passed through a couple of people who weren't able to make it, fell into my lap. And so I was lucky to get it. And I was, you know, like, had been prepping and interested in it and studying the game and the meta to be good enough to actually follow through on that casting. So it landed in my lap. And again, for me personally, it doesn't matter. I could be the 5th, 10th, 20th person they've asked. What matters is I get to do it. I'm like, heck yeah, you know, I'm here. And they say, hey, you got anybody you want to cast with? And everybody was busy. You know, like all the people that they had passed up on before weren't able to do it. And so I was like, man, I don't know. But in the back of my head, I was like, I really, really I've never met him. I think I'd met him one time, excuse me. He had said hello to me. I met him at an event one time, but outside of that, we didn't know each other. We didn't talk. We weren't friends, you know? But I was like, I really think Gabe is like really great. Illuminati Gabe Hernandez. He used to cast some of the SSG streams along with Skinner. And I was like, I just always thought he was so great. Like, I think both of them were so awesome. And I was like, you know what? He's in Florida. He's very far down. He's a couple hours away. But hey, maybe he'll come up. And it was like a few days away. It was like 5 days away. I was like, maybe he'll come up. We'll see. So I was like, you know what? More delusion. Why not? Because I'm a fan of him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, man, I'm this little fish. I'm this little tiny little fish. And Gabe's this big fish, cool guy. And so I just sent him a little message. And I'm like, hey, first time we've ever talked outside of just saying hello. Like, is there any chance you want to come up on Saturday and cast a tournament all day? And to my absolute shock, Gabe was like, I was actually already planning on going to be a player, but this sounds way more fun. Let's do it. And I can't sing my praises enough about Gabe. Like, he is so humble and so kind. And to him, he doesn't know that he's like a big deal. I have to tell him, I'm like, Gabe, everybody watch those streams. Like, people know you, people love you, you're so fun. And he's like, really? That's crazy. So he's just the most humble, the most kind. And so to him, it didn't matter that I had never done a tournament before. He was just like, cool, I'm happy to be here, thanks for thinking of me. And we did it, and it was so much fun, and we had a blast. And Stefan was watching, and it ended up working out with PPG as well. So I think maybe my message is despite that imposter syndrome, quiet that voice and just go for it, because you never know what's going to happen. And like, the people that matter are going to show up, and they're going to be there for you. Because I remember talking to Gabe and being like, look, man, this is my first one, realistically. And so if you got any advice, you got any tips? And he was like, oh, 1, you'll be fine. And 2, let's do this, this, and this. And it just worked out, you know? And there's nice, good people in this game. And in the world, like if you want to apply this to outside of Lorcana, that will show up for you and that will help you. So, I don't know. I've been very fortunate.
Yes. No, I think those are great stories. And like you said, you never know. worst they can do is say no. And, chances are someone that will give you that opportunity, or someone knows someone, right? Like the connections, the networking within this community is amazing. And shout out to everyone who has helped you get there in terms of the opportunities, right? Yes, definitely. And so just kind of wrapping things up, I did want to kind of close out with some New Year's resolutions and goals, being the first episode of the year. So I want to know Willobeez's goals. So for the audience, the parameters were one easy, so one like, hey, you got this, you could probably get this done in a couple weeks, months. Then more like a medium goal, and then we got a pie in the sky. So I will turn it over to you, and let's talk about those goals.
Yes, thank you for this question, by the way. It's always fun at the end of the year to look forward to what you want to achieve in the next one. I think my easy goal is to get better at Lorcana. And it sounds cheesy, but I really mean that. Like I said, I just recently started working with JDRR and the Flower Farm and joining that. And so I'm ready to take it more seriously. Like I said, I want to go from I was like losing every week to now I can top some events locally. And I want to get to like a little bit of a nice showing a DLC, something like that. So just in general, get better at Lorcana is my easy goal. My medium-sized goal is to continue to grow my YouTube channel. We are not even at 1,000 yet, so I'm really hoping to hit that mark. But I think something like
Audience, follow. Yeah. I'm like hyping back here.
Thank you. I'm like I think something like 2,000, maybe 3 would be a medium-sized goal. It's really a big goal. That's like a huge number, but hopefully, if I get a little bit more consistent, we can do that. And my pie in the sky, as you call it, I love that. I think that's so cute. My holy grail, of course, is to cast a DLC. And it's scary to put a goal like that out there because now it's documented, and if I don't hit it, like the mean little guy in my head is like, that'll be embarrassing. But it's never embarrassing to work hard, strive high, and care about things. And so I'm putting myself out there, and hopefully it can happen. And if it doesn't, shoot for the moon, land amongst the stars, right? And so maybe that means I'll get to continue to cast third-party events and do amazing things like that. So as long as I'm in the booth, I'm happy, because it's really been a great passion of mine. But maybe you guys will see me at a DLC one day. Maybe not. I don't know.
Hey, this is manifestation. This is what we call manifestation, right? We're putting it is now in the universe, and now it's a matter of manifesting that future, right? So, of course, I'm rooting for you. And
Thank
hence
you.
this entire series, right? I'm boosting and hyping my friends up in this community. And honestly, you've got the right mentality, the right persona, and certainly the drive to achieve any and all of those. So I, of course, wish you a amazing 2026. And obviously would love to bump into you more, even though we probably live like 20-30 minutes from each other. And yeah, like just all the things, right? For 2026. And how in Hercules when Phil's like, that's Phil's boy. Like, I want to be able to do that, like come back to these snippets and go, we heard it here, right? and be so proud of you. So, let's hope, and we're gonna have it on record, and I can't wait to come back and snippet that, because we're manifesting all the things for you.
Thank you.
So you're welcome. You're absolutely welcome. So with that, Willo, thank you so much for being a guest. I'm so glad we got to do this. And for everybody, thank you for watching, and have a fantastic 2026. And may all of your goals and dreams come true. That sounded so cheesy, but we're going to go with it. So. Bye,
Thank you so much for
Willo.
having me.